I guess we had somebody delivered a letter out there to them. Someone had contacted Anita here, what, a month or so back?
Yep.
And I don't have the ordinances in front of me, but evidently there's a cow out there that is not supposed to be there per the ordinances. And we delivered a letter and the cow was still there. And now they've added goats and chickens, and I think the goats are diseased. And I guess we need to do something about it.
And that's where I'll have to refer it to the city attorney. We serve the papers when we requested to serve those papers on the council. That's the only place
And that came into play because the zoning board actually met and discussed this property, with the idea that it wasn't allowed. And so direction of the zoning members, was to have the letter, at least sent so that they would, be aware of the ordinance and that they'd be asked to comply.
and that's the only knowledge of this board I had at the time to do the contact, and that we have been asked to serve those letters of notice from the zoning.
And then you guys are out of it and the city needs to take control of it then, or how does that work?
Right. The zoning board interaction on the law with the city attorney.
This is the first that I'm hearing of this.
And first I heard was when Officer Wilson called me and said that we've gotten the letters that served to do that. I said, yes, we've done that for the zoning board in the past. And it's basically the first step, and after that, it's up to the zoning board and then the city council.
And so the second piece of this is the realtor did contact me afterwards and asked what the stipulation was on this, with the idea that the owners bought this property, I guess, in the idea that they could have animals, and what their next step was. And I informed her that they would need to apply for an exception, which would be like a special use to be presented to the zoning board, because that would be a variance request or a special condition request. And at that point, they were supposed to get that paperwork from the office,
And they haven't did anything?
and I am unaware that that piece happened.
Where is this located?
And the police department don't get involved in letting the extraterritorial. Something that definitely violates the zoning until the city gives us.
Again, Brent asked, where is this?
It's south of town. I don't have the address, I guess, memorized.
South of what?
It's south of town here.
Yeah, okay.
I
It's
don't know
by-
what street that is.
It's like 3 houses up from Tracy Days
Going south?
going south, the backyard of Kevin's. Or the side of Kevin's, I guess.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, you got diseased animals out there, for one thing, the diseases can be transferred fairly fast or contagious. And not only domestic animals, to deer, and everything else, that needs to be looked into. And they've got cats.
How do we know? How do we know they're diseased?
You put it on Facebook, that they are.
We can't believe everything out
Well, I would
there.
assume
But
they are. If she's saying it.
Yeah, I don't quite believe everything on Facebook.
That's her herself saying it.
She wants to start up like a animal sanctuary.
It really shouldn't make any difference. It's not allowed in the first place, so.
What, I guess I don't know what is the ordinance? You're allowed so many four-legged animals?
the or- It was horse, cat, and dogs.
You can have a horse per so many acres and
Yeah.
cats and dogs just like in the city.
It's not, you can have horses but not cows?
Right.
Okay.
Or sheep.
So isn't there a bunch of cattle that are just west of Kevin's? Or is that out of the Surrey?
Oh, down 11th Avenue there. That's out of the jurisdiction, I believe.
Well, we're half a mile, so that would be in the city's jurisdiction.
Still get in there, touchy zone, ordinances with the territorial.
Kim, do you know of anybody that's requested a special use paperwork? I don't know if Terry would have given it out, but I don't know of it actually being requested at this time.
And I can't imagine that anybody would give us such a use because that's just not the way it is. Not for animals anyway. You can swing your hands to everybody.
I mean, I don't know if we need to send a letter or send the police. I have no idea what to do on it, but unless we change the rule, it needs to go.
That's the problem when you get into the territorial zone, you have to make sure that our ordinance is updated.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it, and it seems to me that it's not necessarily a criminal statute, but I haven't seen it. I'm assuming it's not a criminal thing. It may be civil, so we may be able to apply to the district court for an order to have them removed. And if they don't, the sheriff's department can go down there and take possession of the animals.
Everything that I've seen in the time I did chief of police, I would come to the territorial zone, what the attorney just spoke of, is usually the sheriff's department, not serving the process.
So we're gonna just wait until Mr. Schultz.
Not only the type, but the number of animals?
Well, I don't know who you vote for on that. And I would say first district healthcare would be our first step if they are diseases. You get them out there and the guy, obviously may have a vet or somebody that would go with them if they are diseased. I would say first district would take care of it.
I don't think we should be going off of Facebook, or there isn't a lot of honesty on that thing, is there?
When it's her saying it herself, I think so.
Yeah, she's the one that's implying that they're, yeah.
I think the sheriff's department would do their due diligence just to make sure no one can say, oh, well, the animal suffered while in our care. They'll have somebody look at them whenever they get possession of them.
So taking possession of them would occur before checking them out by the health unit? Is that what you're saying?
My assumption is, and again, I haven't seen it, the ordinance, but my assumption is we could apply for a temporary injunction to have them placed in the care of the sheriff's department. They would be looked at, make sure that they're healthy and okay, and I mean, they'd go from there, but there is an emergency provision that would allow action sooner rather than later. Like a TRO, you see them a lot in civil cases.
So you'll look into it?
Yeah.
Okay, engineers report.
Going on, they're now looking to Pleasant and starting to form sidewalk there. And talked to SRT last week, they're gonna start pulling their poles out of the right of way to cut it in over to fiber. So that process will start this week, we'll start pouring down that way. There's some drainage things we're still working on overall on this and quantity you can see which parts. Besides that, are there any questions on that?
I've had a couple people ask me that the sidewalk is going over the top of the buried utilities. Is that kosher?
Well, they're in the same street, right? So, I mean, everything we put in there is.
So if we have a fiber optic break there, they have to dig it up, then they have to tear the sidewalk out. And the city is responsible for it then?
I don't know exactly, but I can look into it. Yeah.
Okay. There's also been questions about, by the church there, that the sidewalk is a good foot lower than the street. It's just gonna catch snow in the winter. It's gonna be hard to maintain. Is that planned that way, or, I mean, it just looks like a mistake to me?
A foot lower than the street?
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, see, the thing is, it has to be a certain distance off the street. And if you make it the same level as the street, you're gonna end up backfilling most of the ditch in. So the elevation it's at was designed. Yep, yep. And we can go through and walk through and look at some of that. If there are areas you absolutely think are low, but it was planned, all that was set to plan grade. So,
yeah.
yep.
It just seemed like the first snowfall, that's gonna be all, sidewalk's gonna be covered and unusable.
Right, right. And that's why that side of the street, is kind of a challenging side with the deeper ditch on that side, things like that. Original plan was to have it on the north side, originally. But no, I mean, having it, the same level or higher than the street would have completely filled the ditch in, so.
I mean, especially when the streets are so narrow to begin with. It's free isn't always good. But it is what it is.
Right.
There's nothing you can do about it. You either accept it as it is, or you just don't have the sidewalk, unfortunately.
I've seen pictures of like fresh dog prints going down the sidewalk as
Okay.
well.
You have, okay, okay.
Um, Is that something that we can address? I
Yeah,
mean, they're brand new and I think.
we'll have to address that. Yeah. If you have any, do you know the areas in particular or what spots there? I mean, we'll certainly walk it and inspect it. Yep,
Okay.
yep. I'll absolutely put that down.
And AJ had sent me an email here a couple days back, or maybe a couple weeks ago, as far as like some signs. There may be some issues as far as like the stop sign or the yield sign or whatever. that
Heights
they-
and stuff like that.
Well, it's like they're almost too far into the road then.
And I talked to Strata on Thursday about that, and they wanted to assure that, they're not in their final resting spots. They were going to, when they're backfilling and setting stuff. So we'll make sure to check all that too.
I mean, I guess if some of the signs can't go out there, then, I mean, it's 20 miles an hour over town, so it's not a 20, I mean, do you just leave it out?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I would think you just leave it instead of sticking it out, so a truck drives by and catches it. then it's
Closer
gonna
to
be
the
worse.
street, right,
Yeah.
right, yeah. Yeah, relocating some of them will be something we can look at for sure. Yep.
Okay. Anything else for us?
Did you guys want to, I guess we haven't, since the project started, we haven't had a job progress meeting with the contractors. That's something you want me to set up with the county contractor and whoever wants to attend? I know we mentioned in the pre-construction meeting having, monthly progress meetings or bi-weekly or something. I can certainly reach out and set something up if you want. So,
Yeah, I don't know, is that something you think would be worthwhile?
I don't know, I mean, even if, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea, I mean, as long as AJ and John were there as well. is
Yeah.
What I would assume.
Yep.
I mean, do it during the day instead of at
Yep.
night or whatever.
Yeah, it would be
Maybe
just-
You can make it.
either
Yeah, that
something
would-
here or just on site or something, yeah. So.
Cause like even on the north side of Pleasant there where it's going, I mean, I'm guessing that's gonna all come up some. 'Cause it
Yeah,
is- it
we're-
is-
You mean closer to the tracks there?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's something, John, and we I see they've started the grading, but we'll talk to them about that. It'd be good to get Jason and AJ and you and I out there, so, yep. So,
okay.
okay.
Good.
Anything else on anything else? Okay,
Anyone?
thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, second and final reading of ordinance, zoning ordinance 12-7-7 and 12 again. Those are in your packet. They've all been passed on first reading. So this would be the second ordinance amendment 2021 -03, 2021-04, 2021-02, 2021-5,
And basically, it looks like it's just kind of like some updated fees and permits, a bunch of definitions, regulations upon excavations and basements.
These are all recommendations from the planning and zoning board though, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so
I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance amendments 12.0202, 7.0201, 7.0901, and 12.1202 as presented.
we have a motion on the floor to approve the ordinances listed. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second by Steve. Voice vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, votes, motion passes. At this time, in the personal appearance area, we would like to have Ms. Shaw come up and get her oath of office that we neglected to do previously. Would you like to read it? Or do you want me to read it to you?
She has to read it.
She reads it, yep.
Okay, there you go.
This says Kim Shaw, and I am Kimberly, but
Oh,
that's Kim.
we can add it.
I,
Yeah.
Kimberly Shaw, Surrey, North Dakota, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of North Dakota, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of deputy auditor to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Is anybody a notary?
I am.
Terry is, I am not.
I can
need to
notarize
get
it
my
for tomorrow.
notary.
I can notarize it for tomorrow.
Yeah, you just need to stamp it, but you can go ahead.
Can I have it?
You could go ahead and sign off on it.
Anybody have a blue pen? I like to notarize in blue. Right, that's my preference.
So that's something I want to work on,
Getting
getting my notary.
Yeah, I think you and Kim should both go through the
Terry has her
notary.
notary, but yeah, you know, it'd be nice if me and Kim both got it as well.
This is a couple of examples that you guys are referring to, and I just talked to a friend of theirs, they're new to town, so they want to speak to you guys. This is a couple that have been-
Okay, just hold on a little bit. We'll get you in. Okay, unfinished business. The city hall generator, some time ago, we took bids on the generator and approved one of them. I don't remember whether it was the Burlington Electric one or the Main Electric one. We'll have to go back and see. But
No, as of the March 1st minutes, I'm
okay,
sorry, of 2021.
Yep.
I got the minutes there for you guys. I pulled them right out of there.
okay.
It's Burlington.
So which one did we approve?
The bid was for Burlington Electric for a 22 kilowatt diesel generator with a second, motion by Jenny, second by Brent. And
Okay.
that all passed. But the action on it kind of got put to the wayside. Don't know if this is an actual thing that's still happening or where we're at with it.
we forgot to call them to see, if they would do it for that. And now it's been 3 months or 2 months. So I guess we'll have to probably call them and see if they're still interested in doing it at that price. Any suggestions from anyone?
Call 'em up.
I know I had a question that was asked to me after we voted on that, if it was gonna be hooked to the fire department so they can get their doors open and things like that. And I guess I have forgotten to bring it up too. I don't know the answer to that. If we have an emergency, the fire trucks are gonna need to get out, of course. I don't think we had them included at all.
Yeah, we can add that to the notes here.
How do you hook them in? I mean, I don't know. I'm just asking.
I guess so they have power to get, no different than the city hall. I don't know if it's a big enough generator to run both or not. Like I say, it was asked after that meeting and I guess I forgot about it.
John?
Memory serves, only double check the notes we got in the office. Ray Vogt saying he doesn't need a generator. They can open the doors.
Manually.
Okay.
So, while the generator would be nice, they can open it. They designed it just go in a finger or two and it's good to go compared to us where our door is not like that.
Okay, that answers that question then.
Double check my notes. Go back together, but
Okay.
Yeah, I think that makes sense over there.
Yeah, it does.
We were gonna talk to another, electrician. He was gonna get a proposal in. That's kind of why it came back up, but, he apparently didn't get one in, so we're back to the original. On his thoughts on it would be to go with a natural gas generator because you don't run out of natural gas. It's in the pipe, where diesel, you're gonna run out. I don't know, they're quite a bit cheaper, the gas ones. On the main electric one, the gas one is 16,000 and the diesel one is 26,000. The Burlington Electric was 23 for the natural gas and 26 for the diesel. But like say, the natural gas is in the pipe, you don't run out of it, but.
You have something on that, John?
Yeah, well, we discussed during the March and we were discussing the
Yeah.
generators. We have the diesel tank right outside here, 400 gallons or something on that. With a train rail that comes to the pipeline, they have zero, it's about to swim. Diesel, we have, old diesel, get all that.
Yeah.
So that was another reason we pushed towards diesel.
I think we just go with the original plan and contact these people and make sure that we're still able to get it at that price and continue on.
Okay,
I agree.
all right.
Yeah, diesel. So I will follow up with Burlington Electric.
Yep.
Yes. And they do have, I guess there's a Burlington Electric fellow that lives up in Silver Spring. I don't know if there's any, probably Main Electric people here too.
Well, there's a number right on the quote here.
Yeah.
right?
But he is, possibly could be a resident. Okay, generator, Shelby Elder. I did read, your Shelby? Okay, I don't believe we've met. Anyway, I did listen to the recording and I did use your name. And if it was offensive to you, then I apologize for that. We'll have to watch ourselves more, but, Second Avenue Northeast. Kimberly, do you have that?
Yeah, you guys all have a packet in your, a part of a packet. I didn't give you everything. Initially, you guys had asked.
Talk into the microphone, please.
Initially, you guys had asked for this to go to planning and zoning. And it isn't a planning and street. Traffic is not a planning and zoning issue. It is police department and council issue. But I did do the legwork on it for you guys. I suppose you have 20 of my 100 pages. I called Ward County. I called the state. I gave you a copy of everything there is regarding streets, roads. There are no farm to market roads anymore. That was way back in the boonies. And a farm to market road was federally funded. None of our roads here are federally funded or ever have been. People called it a farm to market road. I don't know why. It was just a name that was attached, and that's kind of how it went. If you read into my stuff, there is, if you talk to Ward County, you talk to the state, the only thing that is, farm equipment is normally exempt except for weight. Weight is figured differently on farm equipment. When they did the weight per axle, it was basically on semi trucks, your trucks, not on a tractor, because your weight is dispersed differently. I talked to Chief Howe. They do not have a way to weigh a tractor or a combine. I talked to Andrew and asked him to review some information, and he can give his opinion on what I gave him. State, the county said, leave it alone because we put in the quiet zones and there is no access completely through. There is a way going north and east that could be accessed. I talked to the engineer. You have the information and pictures from the engineer. And the only other thing that the state, Ward County stipulated was, yes, they have to follow all the rules of the road just like anybody else does. And that's, I mean, that's the information I found for you guys. And that's, any questions?
Thank you for doing all the work.
No problem. I mean, it doesn't give you an answer because that wasn't my job. My job was to, I pulled the information for you guys and that's all I can do.
Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Shaw?
There is a sheet in there that shows you how you weigh out a combine, how you weigh out a tractor. It depends upon what size, how many, if it's a track versus a what, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 6, 12-wheeler. Their weight is dispersed differently per poundage, per square inch on the tires versus per axles. Yeah, I give you half the information I found because I gave you the stuff I thought was what you needed to see. I mean, there are oodles of it. Most of it comes down from the feds, then it goes to the states, then it's up to the counties, and then it's the cities. So, but the recommendation from the state and Ward County was to leave it alone.
The engineer report did say the cracks in the Second Street are natural, normal wear and tear from expansion and that. They're not from overweight. Is that correct?
That's the way I
Pavement
read
is
it.
in good condition. Seal work has been done around manholes, newly formed transverse cracks that need to be sealed. his comment was that it is probably the best street in the city of Surrey.
Any further questions, Ms. Shaw? Thank you so much. No question? Andrew?
I got a question. I think the best thing would be establish ownership of that road. Which the High Patrol reports is Fort County 12. And the farm to market stuff, that the precedents are set in 1959 in a federal case in Texas. That any state highway funded by the state or a federal highway funded by federal, county road, section line, those are all in that case.
That's no longer a county road, though.
No, it's
Yes,
a city,
it is.
it's a city road.
It's a city road.
You cannot sell a county road to a city. You
We,
cannot sell.
we literally we swapped that road for
No, you
Pleasant
can't
Avenue
do that.
with the
Can't
person
do
that is
You
with,
know that. Don't
we did.
try and feed
we
that.
swapped it.
No, you can't.
We did.
With the county,
We are
it happened.
taxpayers on the county road, and then we have to pay fuel tax on the same road. You cannot sell. There was no meetings in Ward County. You have to have 3 meetings to do that to taxpayers on the road. There was none in Surrey minutes. Now, it's not just me that looked this stuff up.
I understand that, but I mean, the superintendent of the Ward County Engineering Department or whatever sat on this board and we swapped it out.
I know, and he changed some maps to show that it's a Surrey road and it's not the legal maps. The highway patrolman wrote a ticket in that accident that stated the legal description for that accident was on County Road 12.
A highway patrol guy did?
Yes,
When did he do
the
this?
kid runs the fence railing through his neck
When was that?
4 or 5 years ago.
I don't know.
Well, I guess to me, it really doesn't make any difference. The fact, like Kim said, is to leave it the way it is. The only, from talking to Dana Larson and some of the other people, is that we can't stop Joey from driving his machinery down the street, right? And we can't stop Blaine from parking his truck on the street.
Yes, you can. I hate to say it, but no parking this side of the street.
Blaine?
I hate to do that, but I
Blaine?
say you can't do it. I like to say that you can do it.
Our signs say we can park there during the day on the, north side of the street.
Right.
Yeah.
And, the problem I have, every time there's those turns with Joey, like that sign, me and Larry or Sheila had to turn again on that railroad sign, solar sign. To go, because they were looking. When he knocked down my corner post, he did not let me know. I had to, go contact him. He did reimburse. Well, you end up paying $40 for it. Right? Yeah, I did. So what? You're supposed to let me know. I didn't know I did.
We're circling here quite a bit. Let's just, I think we're just stuck with the way it is. That-
The GPS and, road maps also call that Polk County Road 12. That's why the truckers think it that, because their GPS is.
Yeah.
And if you put County Road 12 back out there, Dana Larson, you'll never have that road clear of snow. It will never be maintained. It ain't gonna happen.
Yep.
It's ours.
Does he maintain this one?
That one he does.
Every time?
Not every time, but they work for the county. We're at their, whatever they want to do, they do.
But we had a problem when they were, when it was County Road 12 before.
As did the city do it. I mean, we did it as well.
That's like an emergency snow route too, though. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's one of the first ones clean.
I guess
Either
to
way.
me, we're arguing over the same point. That
I think it needs to be a
we had all kinds of meetings.
Okay.
Was done legally.
We had the attorneys there. It was done legally. We're not going back through
You
it.
never had any, you never sent me letters.
Steve, you weren't there when that took place.
You,
No, that was 40 years ago.
You weren't even in house. What are you talking about?
You had meetings.
when it swapped back over, when we paved it,
When we paved it, that was done against our will.
They swapped it over and paved Main Street instead.
That was not done legally.
I,
Sorry. That's what needs to be established. That, and then work from there.
okay. All right, that does sound fairly reasonable. We will have Mr. Schultz check
I know.
into the legal ramifications or whatever regarding the Second Street.
yeah, Brent, do you know anything about that? You drive for the.
Yeah,
county.
say it again now. What were you asking me?
Well, do you know anything about that road? You drive for the
Who
county.
owns the streets?
Second Street Northeast.
It's in our city ordinance.
I mean, you plow Pleasant.
That was quite a while back when that was swapped around. Steve, you know more about that than I do.
Well, that's what I said. They don't think I'm right. It was never swapped.
Okay, we're,
Well, it's not a county road right now.
It's
I
a
can
waste of
definitely
our
say this.
county
It was
attorney.
like
You
the
don't
worst
see a
decision
county
the
road
city ever
sign
made.
on that road.
it's just got to get settled one way or
I
the other.
completely agree with
I
It
guess
is
we'll have
settled.
one.
It's done. Boom.
Do we want to have a motion to?
No, I'll just do it.
You gonna do it for free?
Yep. Well,
You gonna do it for free?
no, I'm gonna talk to Dana Larson and see what he has to say.
Because we ain't paying for it. We have to make, if you're gonna spend our money, we need to make a motion to have you do that. And I don't, unless someone wants to make a motion.
Well, as far as I know, that's not a county road.
Kimberly,
Pleasant Avenue is the county road.
Ms. Shaw? Yep.
What happened?
He said that road was legally swapped. And I said, what we do is we get paperwork from Dana and we go from there.
Would you be able to get that paperwork? Yeah. Okay. You're fired.
Just for that one thing.
Okay, Ms. Kimberly, if you'll do that, we'll get on with our meeting. Legend Lawn Care Contract. We have hired Chris, I can't remember his last name,
Shriek, isn't it? No.
to mow for the city, along the boulevards and the streets and stuff like that.
Yeah, so he brought in this contract for you guys to look at, just to kind of have something to safeguard, both the city and himself, along with, his state license, insurance, everything needed to get going here. Did you believe he was gonna move full force here this week? Spalding, Chris Spalding?
Spalding, there you go.
Yep.
And this is just for 1 month?
Yeah,
Just a
just on
trial basis?
a month basis with a reevaluation done.
I think that's what we decided.
That is what we
1 month.
decided. He was throwing this care contract out there to see if that's something you guys wanted to put in place. Or no.
And that's $2,000 a month, Anita?
Yep, I believe
Is that
that
what we
was,
decided?
I believe that was the quote, yep.
Didn't we approve it to do it just for 1 month?
Yep.
To see how it went?
Yep.
And that's what this contract is for, 1 month.
Yep.
I know he's done some mowing. The first day he was out, he went through the RV park and did all the mowing and trimming and things that hadn't been done for years. He had it all done in a day. So. He
Yeah, I
seems-
seen him up north too, cutting trees and stuff. He did a good job.
I'm pleased with it.
Is he asking us to already extend it, or we're just basically finalizing this for this month?
Well, he's looking at actually just putting it in writing,
Oh,
which is that if that's not a bad thing to do. I mean, I guess on his
No.
piece or the city's piece. I mean, it's in our minutes that he was hired, but, so this is just a sample of a lawn care contract that he put together and was hoping you guys would approve to have it signed.
You guys already approved it last month or whatever.
Yeah, I would agree with
Okay,
Steve.
okay. So we can just have the
I-
mayor sign off on it? Great.
So-
I understand that he wants something in writing, which is a smart idea.
Yes, ma'am.
Question, is that also including Silver Springs and all of the stuff that we've dealt with the second half? Because I know back in the and the real estate about parkways and all that stuff we taken care of and maintaining, is that also included, or are we going to be planning for that to be done as well?
He's working both for the park board and the city on two separate.
Yep.
Silver Springs is part of the park in Silver Springs is his project, plus the mowing along the wall.
And the trails?
Yep.
The trails would be the park.
So then we're just delaying the loss on that for whoever owns that now and paying him to do it instead of having them send people to do it?
He's gonna contact, Obasa Group as far as mowing the vacant lots and stuff in Silver Spring.
In other words, we took over responsibility for it, we're paying somebody for it, but they're supposed to be paying someone else to do it, but we're doing that now?
No, Obasa doesn't have to, Obasa just has to pay for their lots that aren't
But they
sold.
weren't last year, and we
Correct.
billed for it last year.
Correct.
But
He's
now-
not touching this part of that. He will contact Obasa. If Obasa wants their lots mowed, then he would contact Obasa and mow those lots, is my understanding of it.
And when we did it in the past, I believe, when Public Works went up there, that was billed to them, and then if they didn't pay it, it went on their taxes.
Correct.
I thought that was also the walkways and stuff too with their responsibility.
I
The
don't think,
walkway is city-owned property.
Yeah. It was. We
It
took it
is.
over at a certain point in time.
Kimberly?
I did send out a letter to them, to the Springs regarding lots being overrun.
So in 10 days, if they're not mowed, then we can send our guys in
Yep.
and charge it to their taxes.
Bill them for it. Okay,
I would just contact this Chris guy. He would get it done a little quicker, I think, than
Yeah.
AJ and John.
yeah, he's ready to go get her on things.
Just pay
Um,
him.
Let's, before new business, let's, go talk about the cow.
We did that already.
So what is the ordinance before we start on
Yeah, we
that?
should
There
I
is
don't have
no,
enough information at all.
I have the ordinance in my hand, actually. Hi. So my name is Chelsea, and this is my husband, Martin. You want to say? All right. I want to say I'm sorry we're late, but I also want to say thank you for letting us step up here and tell you what kind of happened. My husband and I just bought the house here in April. We closed April 12th. And when we bought the house, we were looking for specific things. When we were talking to our realtor, we asked for specific animals. I grew up on a ranch and I wanted to raise our children around animals. So we made sure that we asked, and there was a contingency on it until our landlord called and spoke to planning and zoning in the city and got us the okay. By the way, I would like to say when we bought the house, it actually came with a chicken coop and chickens that they left on the property. So when we moved in, we already had chickens. From there, we did get the cow. We were working on the cow's fence the day after we got her. And I would like to say she's also came to us because she's an older cow with a broken leg and she's halter broke. So they were just gonna put her down. And so we just got her basically as a pet. And so while we were working on the fence that same night at 11:20 at night through our backyard, is when we met Kevin Nelson, our neighbor behind us. He introduced himself to us, letting us know that we needed to ask about having the cow, which was news to us because we thought we had already gotten that cleared. So we asked him what step to take. He told us to call Anita. And so we did that next morning. The first thing we did was called Anita. Also followed up with our realtor to make sure that everything was still fine on her end. And when we spoke to Anita, she told us that she was going to make sure she didn't just tell us yes, but look up on the computer itself and make sure and everything cleared. She told us, you know, honey, go ahead and have your cow, blah, blah, blah. And it was very like reassured. I got off the phone feeling a lot better. So we thought. And then we, from there, we got the okay from her and everything, and then after that, we found out from our neighbor that that Kevin was asking about the cow to our neighbors to see if we were having any problems, and everything seemed fine. We did make sure it was okay with our neighbors and that we weren't like upsetting anything. We got a letter and I was at work and a police officer dropped it off. My husband was at home. And it says, oh, by the way, also when we spoke to Anita, she said that the fence, I'm sorry, I don't know the exact term, the building inspector fence guy was also in the building. And so we asked if he could come by the house, make sure that everything looked fine for the cow. So we did want the extra approval, and everything was said to be fine. We then got the letter from Anita saying, in response to the phone inquisition, further research has been made and we are writing to confirm that zoning jurisdiction assigned to your property is listed as residential ag. There she goes into saying, well, actually, she gave us the copy, the ordinance of the copy of the ordinance. So from there, things kind of changed from what we were told multiple times. We've tried to stay consistent on top of communication with everybody. We asked what steps we can do now, and we did get an email from her sent also to our realtor, the City of Surrey conditional use application, and that is for the cow. Also, I reached out to the previous owners of the home and asked them if I could get a copy of the approval that they got for having the chickens, because I didn't want that to come up on us. And she said that there was no approval, paperwork, or steps that they had to take. All they had to do was make a phone call and got it over the phone, got approval over the phone, which we had gotten approval for the cow over the phone multiple times. So at that point, it was very unclear. Also, our neighbor had chickens, and she said they've had them for like 7 years, and the people we bought the house from also 7 to 9 years. So we're trying to communicate with everybody and make sure that we do this correctly. We're not planning on getting more cows. We just want to make sure that we continue the communication and have everything clearly put. So, and do it correctly. Oh, and I would like to, sorry. I would like to mention, I quickly caught just like a minute of it before I got here. And I know there was a mention of our goats. We do have 3 dwarf goats. We got them for milk for our 2 oldest have medical problems, and that's the reason we got them for goat milk. One of the goats came down with a sickness, but we're in like tight communication with a vet who believes that we are handling it correctly and that goat did not need to be put down. So we have been on top of that medically. He hasn't spread it even to our other goats or anything else. So
They are under veterinarian care.
yes.
Okay. The ordinance does not mention allowing cows and goats.
Well, if I read it correctly, because this is all.
Could you back up a little bit from the
Oh,
microphone?
sorry. Yes. It says that the only things that are actually like pre-approved, if I read it correctly, states that there are 2 horses per 2 acres that are pre-approved. So it doesn't even say anything about chickens, which is why I needed the paperwork from the previous owner since we bought a house with chickens. We needed to make sure that that was okay, and she said that all you had to do is make a phone call. So now I have chickens in a home that I bought with chickens, and it is not approved, but the phone call was approved. So I'm not sure what else we're supposed to do.
Well, what do you have? 1 cow
We have 1 cow,
and 4 goats?
three dwarf goats, and we have got chickens.
How many chickens?
Probably like 60.
60?
Yeah, but a lot of them are meat birds, and they will be in our freezer soon, and so that's not consistent all the time.
How many chickens?
You must like eggs.
60.
And I was told also in the message that when they got the approval for the chickens, that they could have up to 100 birds. So that was what I was told. And
Are you planning on adding any other animals?
no,
She has it.
She has it up there. the
What
old-
is it?
Can Jenny look up the ordinance?
absolutely.
And so the week she talked about calling, I was looking at the Surrey GIS and then was informed at our zoning meeting that the Surrey GIS was only for future planning in Surrey and was referred to the Ward County GIS, which confirmed their residential ag status. So I will apologize sincerely that I made that error for you of giving you that. And that is simply why I had to follow what the zoning recommended, that we give you the ordinance and ask that you comply. So yeah, I definitely made an error on that piece, and the zoning were aware of it, and I went from there and got that to you. Does it make the situation any better? No.
You know who they said approved the chickens, because chickens have never been, ever. In the 18 years that I have been on planning and zoning, chickens have never been allowed. So I'm really curious as to who would have approved 100 chickens in rural residential.
I don't know the name because I was already told that we could. I could ask the people who were told that they could. Also, my neighbors had them for 7 to 9 years.
The previous owner?
The previous owner also had them for like 9 years, and they've had a
Do you know
coop
who that
on.
was?
Yes, Chelsea and Derek Brown were the previous owners, and our neighbor also called after we got a goat and asked if they could get a goat, and were also questioned about their chickens that they've had, and nothing was told to them during that phone call that they were not allowed to have them. So,
I have a couple of questions.
okay.
Who's your real estate agent? What's that?
Her name is Megan Kruger. Megan Kruger.
How do I spell the last name?
I think it's Krooger. No.
KRU.
KRU.
It's right behind the chart.
Okay. And who's the vet that's,
I have it written down on my fridge. I'm sorry, I don't have that with me.
do you know which vet hospital it is? If it's
It's
Pinkerton or
actually-
West Oaks?
No, because they're livestock, then there's a separate vet for them. Yeah. No, the one that we're actually in contact with, we tried to reach out to one multiple times and left many messages. They're a traveling one, and they were referred to us when we bought the goat. And but we got,
Is it Sharon, the pet vet?
yes, that is the name.
Sharon
But we never got back from her.
Oh,
And so I followed up with the lady that we got our goat from, and she gave us her vet number. So that's what I don't have their
is
name.
it in Minot?
It is not in my
Oh, it's not in Minot.
No.
There you go.
But she's on 24 call for me. So if I have any questions about his sickness, she's been very helpful.
Is it on medication? I think it-
Yes, and I also I work at Tractor Supply, so I get a lot of like all of his vet stuff from there. We're taking all of the precautions for him.
What's the ordinance say?
The ordinance says a couple of horses per 2 acres.
Cats and dogs.
Yes.
But then in the animal ordinance, it does say
Yeah, we live
that
outside
there are
of town.
certain that are prohibited. Live sheep, swine or pigs, cattle, chickens, or other poultry, goats or rabbits in the city. But then, I mean, we definitely need to figure out where the city limits line is, and like if you're,
I mean, there's
It's
it.
rural residential.
so this
Yeah.
wouldn't apply to that city limit.
Yeah, we live
This
outside
is
of town.
just city.
But the one
Correct.
that Jenny was just reading, that's just city.
That's
then, as
from
far
this-
as
that's for
pigs and all
city.
that.
Yeah. So
They're pretty much rural residential and residential are really close to the same except for the horses. You can't have horses in the city limits, but you can in rural residential. You can run your dogs and cats.
So it says horses other than dogs and cats is the only animal they can
those are
have?
the only ones pre-approved, is what it says.
The only animal.
Private horse stables, the horses shall be for private use only.
Which is completely honest. We bought the house outside of town because we were told we couldn't have chickens in town, so we bought property outside of town with acreage for animals. So no, the horses
Isn't
are
there-
already pre-approved.
Horses, yeah.
Correct.
No, they're already approved in the ordinance.
Correct.
Isn't there other cattle out in that area?
Yes, there is, and you can see them from our front yard.
Right on the other side of the Vet Auto Repair, which I can see from my driveway, they've got tons of cattle out there.
That's a farm.
So like when I talked to your realtor, I told her there was a couple options. You know, the special use, the variance, or maybe even a fossil request to rezone. That would also, you know, all be choices of either the zoning board or ultimately your city board that would
Mm.
allow that exception. So awesome, and kudos for you to come in and
Thank you.
explain your case.
Yeah, and both of our neighbors have chickens too, so I think everybody right now that live next to us on both sides are kind of wondering where everybody stands now.
The house you
Doesn't
bought
the
was
city of Minot,
Brown's?
don't they have an ordinance and didn't they change theirs not too long ago to allow chickens, and snakes and a bunch of stuff? I'm just curious. I didn't know what ours was.
No, the topic comes up all the time, but it's 99% voted against
Yeah.
in city limits.
In city limits.
Okay.
And the chickens.
It would be an exception. So it's either change the ordinance, ask for the variance, ask for a rezone. I mean, it ultimately becomes your city council final decision on any of those options. And that's kind of what I told your realtor.
I mean, whatever decision we make, it's gonna affect their neighbors as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
And
it's not
they-
just them.
yeah, they
No, well,
were,
the thing is, I mean, she's already said it. I mean, she has goats now. Her neighbors want a goat. I mean, it's a trickle down effect. I mean, it's rural residential. I totally get it. But I mean, they're 2 acre lots. And if
my goats
next
are
thing
lots.
you know, you have 6 goats and 3 cows and 80 chickens, what kind of smell comes out of that? Where does all that feces go?
Mhm.
I mean, I get it. I'm sorry, but I'm a no. If it goes that far. I mean, it goes from this one, then they want it, and they want it, and they want it. I mean, eventually, is it a farmland or what is it? It's not a farm.
Exactly.
So can I have a donkey next? I mean,
But-
where does it stop? I mean, that's why there's rules and regulations to it. I mean,
I do feel that that's why horses are pre-approved, and not all animals, because like you said, it could become overpopulated quickly if people taking advantage of it. So we do understand why, and I do think that that is why people have to apply and let you guys at least know what they're planning on having. So I do understand where your concern is.
I mean, I'm surprised there's chickens out there and they haven't come back and said anything to us before. I mean, if it's 5 o'clock in the
I s-
morning and you have
yeah.
100 chickens there, I cannot believe there isn't noise. It floors me that they haven't said anything.
It's been that way for 10 years.
10 years, yeah.
You might be quiet
9
chickens.
years. She said 9 years.
7 to
to
9 years. Okay. I was told 7 to 9 years from both of them. That's all I know. Okay.
But there's more than one person that has chickens. It's not just
Well,
them.
I'm sure there's,
Well, I'm just saying, there's more than, she said there's more than one
I
person
mean,
that
but
has chickens.
evidently they brought out chickens they weren't supposed to, but nobody said anything because they weren't noisy. And now the next person says, well, they can get away with chickens, so now there's a second chicken. I mean, that's where it comes in. And then eventually you find out about it, and now when do you say no? Now you gotta take the,
815, 97th Street Southeast. Correct.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have it in front of me.
It sounds
okay.
like if you want to keep them, you'll have to apply for a variance
Okay.
on the ordinance and go through the planning and zoning, Kim? That would be you.
So it'd be a
And
public hearing type thing.
we'll go on from there.
Did you just recently get that paperwork?
No. My husband and I both work full-time, so I'm sorry we haven't gotten it finished. The application. Yeah.
Okay. Because you'd want to get that in
Yeah.
as soon as possible, because otherwise we're gonna ask you to comply, which is
Correct.
rid of your animals.
My biggest concern would be the chickens, I think. I think the dwarf goats, you could probably get even a medical card of some,
I don't know, maybe.
I mean, if they are feeding your children, the horse
My-
or the cow.
Yeah,
I mean, do you plan to butcher? Or, I mean, is this a long-term pet?
As of right now, I mean, sure, there might be a day we'll have to put it down, but when that day comes. But
Personally, my biggest concern is just the chickens.
our goat, that's fine. I grew up on a ranch and had goats, but no. No, they have not. I'm sorry, but my husband and I both are at home, one person each at least. We had a goat while we were outside with them.
So
Um,
that's where we're going with that.
Yeah. Well, you just go ahead and apply for a variance or conditional use and we'll go on from there.
Okay.
Yeah, the sooner you can get that in, that'd be great.
Okay.
We can get that process going. at
Okay.
least.
Thank
And
you for
have
your
a final-
time.
You know, at least you have an answer.
Okay, thank you.
Under new business, we have,
Thank you, guys.
Ms. Kimberly, you're up again. Whoop.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I missed that. What did he say? Can someone repeat that?
It'd be Ward County cops would come out, not our cops.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's Ward County.
sounds like you got a handful of them out there that have different animals that aren't supposed to be there. So.
Thank you.
Doesn't Troy have chickens?
Well, let's not throw people under the bus right now, but I mean,
Yeah, I don't get no free eggs.
just so you guys know, number one, thank you for coming in. Number two, a public hearing. They're just going to notify people within 150 feet. Is that right? 300
Yep.
feet of your
150
property.
feet of your property.
And then all those people have the right to come to a public hearing and say aye or nay to the decision. Okay.
Talk to your neighbors. They want
I
them.
think Jenny's right, though. I think, yeah, I think Jenny has a good idea too about the medical thing for your children. I think
Could
that's
apply
something
for
you
something.
should pursue with your doctor.
Okay, Kimberly.
Okay,
Again. Hey, hey.
it sticks in my nose. Okay, the next, is it working? Yep, it is now. Tyrell Crafts property. I talked to the health unit today. I talked to Tyrell today. His trailer will be moved out by the end of this month. And it is contracted per Eisman Mobile Homes to remove it. As of right now, Eisman is putting the replacement in as far as I understand. But they have to get all their stuff packed and out of there. And then he had to make arrangements with Eisman to get it pulled out. So it will be out by the end of July.
Is it a manufactured home that's approved by planning and zoning and our building?
The one that's
permits?
coming in?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay.
So I just wanted to give you an update on that. The
Because
other,
we had gotten a new notice from the health district, right?
we did get a new notice from them and I got back in contact with Natalie. Natalie thought it was already taken care of, didn't realize it wasn't. So she sent them, she reissued the letter and then she called me back this morning and Tyrell called me this morning, which was a real coincidence. So yes, it will be out the end of the month. And I need to keep the health unit informed on that so that they can follow through when it is pulled out. I do believe they're going to come in and do some soil samples to make sure that the sewer is up to snuff. So
Okay.
we're getting somewhere on that one. The other one is I just wanted to ask your guys' permission to do the welcome packet again since it hasn't been going on and the newsletter.
Yes, please, and thank you for both of those things. Can we just quickly jump back to the craft home?
Sure.
Just a couple things that are on that, because I know this affects a lot of the neighbors. The harborage of the rodents and such like that. Who can we contact about making sure that when they take that home out, that everything is removed properly? Like, I'm just assuming that it's gonna be a complete mess, and I just don't want them to bring in a new house and put it right on top of the old.
When
mess.
I talked to him this morning, he said they were going to get the house pulled out. Reason they haven't cleaned up a bunch of the junk out there is they must be gonna bring something in to just load it into, I would say, roll-offs and go from there. Because I did send them a letter to get their garbage, get their yard cleaned up and the junk out of there. And he was responding to that along with the health unit's letter that he got from them again.
So you gave them a notice that we sent out
Yeah,
for cleanup
the nuisance,
as well.
nuisance
The
and,
nuisance,
yeah,
Okay.
and the abatement stuff to get the junk cleaned out of there. But most of the junk is not going to go until the trailer is pulled out, so it can all be cleaned up at the same time.
Do they do like soil samples? Have you heard anything like that?
would
I just think
so.
the debris runs pretty deep. Like it's been like that for so many years
Yeah,
that
I don't know, yeah. The gal at the health unit also said that if he had a problem getting rid of his cats, she knew of somebody that they could be taken to besides the Humane Society. They wanted them to try there first, and then she knew somebody that does cat fostering, whatever you want to call it.
Recycling? Recycling?
No, I don't think that's the right word, Chuck.
Takes them in and saves them and then finds them new homes. So,
We're good?
good. Thank you for doing that, Kim.
Thank you. Okay, special election.
okay, I'm done.
Tara Nip.
That moved also by, next to my street there.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you get rid of that, that's kind of a.
The health unit did a
Thanks for sharing.
Dangerous building?
Z-Bar.
unit will not condemn it yet. They have been open multiple times at our request to look at it.
Yeah. Have you seen directions that come from the west?
I, sent out a letter to them besides their grass and the camper that is in the back all tore up and multiple other things that he was requested to remove them or we would at his cost. So, I think he
Okay.
can get the grass cut.
Not on the agenda.
On camper in the back that is
Alright.
All right, Tara?
It's nothing.
No, go ahead, I got it.
I'm just here to, there was some talk about having like a Old Town meeting just for the upcoming election. From what I understand, there's two people that are going to be on the ballot. That doesn't include some write-ins that I don't know if it's true or not. I've just heard there's some other people that are going to be doing write-ins.
Could she speak up, please?
Yep. So what we're looking to do, and I was talking with Brenda Quest about this also, is to have like a town hall meeting, not a debate, not an argument, just meet the candidates or whoever's running, let them talk a little bit about themselves, what they like, what their intentions are, what they get on council. And, we're going to have lemonade and cookies. And then afterwards, there'll be like a question and answer. If people have non-argumentative questions, to have them answer some questions and whatnot. And so what I was seeing is I had spoken to Anita about renting the hall for this Thursday. Anita, I'd ask you about this Thursday. We're actually looking to move it until next Thursday. I think that's the 15th. I don't know if there's an opening. But what I'm here for is to ask a couple of things. If the council will waive the rental fee for the hall, since it is for the community and all citizens of Surrey. That's the first one I wanted to ask. And then the second one, I talked to John. A few people have mentioned to me that they won't be able to make it, but they'd like to watch it on YouTube. So I'm asking even more if John has already said that he would be willing to run the equipment to run it on YouTube, if it's okay with you guys. So I'm just here to ask permission. And if you guys think it's all a bad idea, we can always move it to the senior center or something like that. We just thought it'd be just kind of a low key, laid back type of an atmosphere to meet the candidates, discuss things, and just kind of have a nice evening. It would be from like 7 to 9 o'clock. Is that the 15th? I don't have my calendar.
It is Thursday.
Okay, that's what we're kind of looking to do. So that's what I'm here asking.
I couldn't hear the best, so was the question, they
Yep.
get the city hall for free and then John in there for whatever them 2-3 hours to put it on YouTube, is that correct?
That's correct, Brent.
Yep.
And use, of course, the
Okay, I
chairs.
guess my question would be, if anyone else in the past has ever run for council or mayor or anything else, don't you go out and go door to door and
Well, that's a
put
possibility.
signs up and do all that stuff?
Sure, I'm sure that's something that the candidates might want to do, but this is from the citizens. This is from a group, I'm sorry.
State
Mr.
law
Schultz.
says we're not allowed to use government property to advocate for anybody's election.
I understand that because I have read
So-
that.
The space can't be donated.
Okay,
It
okay.
has to be paid for
By a citizen,
at fair market value.
which is $50 from what I understand to rent the hall.
Yes.
Correct.
Also,
Okay.
Mr. Doyle's time.
Well, that's what I'm wondering if I'd spoken to him whether he can donate his time, but the main thing is the equipment. And I understand where they're coming from when it comes to an election. I've read up on all of that. That's why we're not asking the city per se to do this, because of course you can't. We don't have all the fun stuff that you guys do. And if we can't do the YouTube thing, we can't. And if the city can't waive the fee for this, like I said, this isn't a city thing. This is a private thing with the citizens of Surrey being able to come together and a little bit more.
The other concern
Yeah.
that I have is because it's a public space, then other organizations and other causes would have the right to do that as well. So I'm
Sure, and they can
asking
now.
They would
If anybody knows if this kind of thing that's not political. if
They
this-
can-
if this
they can do
space
that
is
now.
used for that.
They can do that anytime they want. It's $50 rental. Anybody can rent the hall.
Then
For any
I'm
purpose.
fine with it as long as it's paid for.
See,
Okay.
we used to have Lions meetings in here and they were free, I believe. I don't think anybody was.
Right. I know
Politics-
before in the
politics is
past they
different.
have.
You can't donate something for politics.
I
unless you
understand that. That
declare
does
it.
make sense. That does make, maybe we'll just do like a little, I don't know, free will, but I can pay for it. The money isn't really that big of a deal. But the system is the other question I'm asking. If the system can be used.
I guess being Mr. Doyle would be a city employee, I don't know that it would work out for him to donate on the side. I would think he would have to be on the salary, being he would
But then that would be part of the city then, and we can't do that.
well, he would have to be, he'd have to be working on the payroll.
I'm confused. I'm sorry. Which I do, but I mean, if not, that's all I'm here for is just to ask. There's a lot of people have been coming with a lot of questions and I said
Okay.
that I would bring it to council tonight. So I mean, I'll go ahead and pay for the hall. That's not a big deal.
Also, public money can't be used to promote it.
What do you mean public money?
Well,
Whose public money? It's my
we
money.
we can't run copies out of the copy machine here and then
Oh,
go post
no,
them around
no,
town.
no.
Or we can't YouTube it from
We-
here.
That's
We
what I'm
can't- yeah,
wondering.
We can't use.
That's
it
why I
from
came
here,
to ask.
And we can't post it on the city Facebook page.
The election or the,
You can just post it on
The meet and greet.
page in Surrey,
Okay.
and then just use it through your account and we'll make no difference.
okay, we'll just do it that way then. And
As long as it has nothing to do with the city of Surrey, and we rent the spaces.
right. And that's what I was
Right.
really trying to watch and why I
Right.
wanted to come and ask just to see. But okay, then, and of course you guys are all invited too as citizens, so you don't have to answer questions or anything like that. But council, and I don't think that would be a meeting since they're not going to be discussing anything, but hopefully we'll get a good turnout for it.
You can't talk city business if you're.
Right.
Right.
You guys can't be involved in the conversation, am I correct? Otherwise that, yeah, but you guys are all more than welcome to come. And if anybody knows, if anybody knows of anyone else that is going to be going as a write-in and they want to attend, they're more than welcome. Just contact me and try to make it something a little low-key, laid back, and yeah, just a small town type of a thing and see how it goes. Any other questions for me? Thank you for your answers. I understand them and we'll carry on next Thursday between 7 and 9.
Were you,
COVID brain. Nope, I think the answer was no because of the equipment, right?
yes.
That we can't use the equipment.
I don't
correct?
know about the equipment, but John
I have,
running the equipment, Mr. Schultz.
Yeah, if John runs the equipment, it's city stuff. He has to be paid for it.
really? Because I
Yeah.
run your equipment.
If he wants to do that for you, right?
So we can put this together then and be here and
Sounds like.
have that and invite you guys.
But not have it on YouTube and stuff.
Not on the
like that.
city's YouTube page. No, I understand that.
We can have, she can have it on YouTube.
But
on
we
her
can still
own.
broadcast it like, for instance, on my channel or something.
Yes.
Okay, but just not, I know the city's because of the election thing, so. The last question I had, and it's just a clarification, I had that the election was July 20th, but then I saw somewhere else it's 21st. So it's the 21st or the 20th?
What is it?
It
The
is
date of the election.
Tuesday.
It's the 20th.
Okay, I'd seen online that it said 21st, so
I am so tired of that.
I'm sorry, what was that, Anita?
2 weeks from today,
Yeah,
It is
the
2 weeks
20th.
from today.
Is the,
20th.
got it, 20th, got it. Okay, any other questions from you guys at all? Then I'm good, thank you very much.
So what is the plan? They're gonna
That-
be able to use the city hall. I can't hear the best.
That I'm gonna go, I'll just go ahead and pay for it, for the rental of the hall that evening, and we can use the tables and chairs and all of that, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
Brent,
And
they're
then-
gonna use the city hall and they're going to broadcast on their own YouTube channel and stuff like that, not the city's.
Okay, and then they're not using the city's, microphones and stuff and all the equipment?
We can't use any of
Right.
that then?
Right.
You don't need it.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, preliminary budget.
Wait a minute. Just so you guys know, the dates on that special election, right? So she just asked about it. It is July 20th. It will be held here at Surrey City Hall with polls open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Ward County right now is taking absentee ballots. So if you got the word I passed out, if people actually don't want to come to the hall that day, they're taking absentee ballots. They're also going to provide us workers, judges for the day, count those certified votes. And then we're going to need to have a canvassing meeting after that election. Canvassing board is going to have to be your auditor, attorney, mayor, commission president, 2 members of the city commission. I will be gone though through July 23rd, I believe.
No, that'll be fine. I think we'll just have the city attorney and full city council.
And it'll
Meet
be
canvassing
fine if
board.
I'm absent. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if we need, I can take notes. And then
Okay.
I believe it's 6 days. There has to be 6
I
days
believe it
between the
is 6
election.
days as
and
well
the-
too. So from July 20th till July 26th, you're gonna have to figure out a day to meet. And I'm not gonna be here to help you guys with that, but if you guys just know that ahead of time,
It has to be in those days.
I believe so, yes.
So either Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Monday?
It's normally the following Monday is the canvassing board.
Okay.
And then reorganization would happen August 2nd. Once those votes are all counted, accepted, you reorganize August 2nd as a full board. Sounds amazing, right?
And then we have a regular meeting that same day?
Yep. I'd start off your regular meeting, calling it to order and reorganizing immediately.
We just want to do it on the 26th. What time?
Whatever, 5:30, 6 o'clock, whatever everybody can.
5:30?
Works for me.
Are you talking about the 26th
Yep.
to canvas?
Yep.
I don't get off work till 5:30. I could be there the earliest 5:45, but
That's fine. Let's
if
do
I
it.
ever get home.
So we'll just tentatively put 5:45.
Yep.
July 26th, 5:45.
If you could email something out, Anita?
Yeah, but I can get it together, at least before I leave type thing.
Okay, budget.
Thanks, Kevin. Kevin's adding his police department budget that he worked on that wasn't in your packet. So that's why it's here. It's all pretty and colorful. You got creative.
I guess I would also recommend tabling the preliminary budget. I didn't realize we were gonna do that tonight. We do have till August 10th. That's another thing that we could add to the beginning of the August 2nd meeting. Just start the meeting at 6 o'clock and do a prelim budget 6 p.m.
And not do it tonight.
I would prefer that myself. I'll be back home so I can hear better and have the papers in front of me.
I would agree.
So if it's all right with it, I'll make a motion to table preliminary budget. I mean, this is an hour in the making. Preliminary budget till the August 2nd meeting at 6 p.m.
Can you have like the reorganization meeting and then the budget meeting?
Yep.
Just to get everybody
Yep.
that's on.
Absolutely.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries.
One,
Table, the-
one thing I was hoping to ask about, just so that I know, that sidewalk project expenditure, we're gonna start getting bills in on that, guys. And I need to know which fund is paying for that. I don't know if there was money set aside.
We got didn't we get a grant for that? Or some kind of,
Like,
Well,
where would that have been? We do have a grant in place, but I'm wondering, like, did we receive money? Or are we paying bills and then
Then we
getting a
get
portion of
reimbursed.
it paid back to us?
Is it a 60/40?
That's what I'm thinking.
So we pay everything until, so can you just, to make it really easy for everybody, can you create a fund
Create a fund.
just for tracking in and out?
Oh,
I'm ignoring her for a minute. You caught up here?
I don't know.
Carla?
I was looking through the budget, and I had a quick question, on the columns that are on your budget sheets.
Is that part of the preliminary budget?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, well, we've tabled that till next month.
It's gonna help you, I swear I'm trying to help you. You've got your actual expenditures for 2020, and then you've got your budgeted and estimated expenditures for 2021. Is that what was in the budget, or did you use what's an actual and then annualize it up? Kind of estimate the expenses for the end of the year?
Right.
No, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to table this, because we do not have the year-to-date 6-month numbers in there.
So what is
Right
that?
now, these are actual budgeted numbers 2021.
But not what we
So
use.
just budget, so it's the 2021 budget.
And not necessarily. Some of them actually have been calculated, thinking on, based on what we've spent 6 months, how much we're gonna spend the next 6 months. So it definitely needs work, for real.
My request would be then,
Yeah.
when this comes back, my request would be then, and this is released again, if you could kind of somehow maybe with colors or something, point out what is the 2021 budgeted amount and what's the actualized for the year, annualized for the year. So then that way you kind of are, just so people know what they're looking at.
How come we table it and we're still talking about it?
Trying to prepare you for next time, Brent.
I
Nope,
know
we
you
got
guys tabled it. I got another question about the vector fund. The vector fund currently is going into the general fund. And this is not a budget question, this is a current funding question. Vector fund is being taken in on utilities and going into the general fund, not actually into the vector fund. And I did clarify with the software, we could have it changed so that the incomes actually go right into that vector fund account. Would that be something that you guys would like me to see have done, and then just have that transferred balance into that vector fund? So it's vector, it all makes sense, it's right there as one.
Yeah, I would have assumed that we had a
Yeah.
vector fund account.
We do.
We do have a
but
vector
it's-
fund.
There's nothing in it.
So I make
We
a motion
do. There
to,
is money in it, but like the utility payments that come in, that proportion amount is going into the general. And then from general, was it transferred annually?
it
is-
wasn't transferred until Diane.
It wasn't transferred,
Mm-mm.
okay.
No, that's why we're missing money. So I would make a motion to transfer all of the year-to-date revenue received from the utility bills to the vector fund into Fund 504, and then to contact Black Mountain Software and have them set it up properly.
To change it, to receive it, nice.
I don't even need a motion. It should just be-
I just wanted you guys to be aware of it and
I think we're transferring
for
money
this
from
year?
Fund
Yeah.
have your
504.
agreement.
I'll second that.
I
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Steve, did you second that?
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, the mayor's report. Only item, what's that?
Oh,
You
yeah,
wanna skip
Steve.
to the executive session?
Well, no,
I had a
that was
question
supposed to
on
be
it.
next.
Oh,
Yeah, the last of the new stuff.
okay.
Okay. My question is at the last meeting, we had our executive meeting and we came back. We made a motion, I guess, at the executive meeting to have you do something,
No. I was directed to do
directed,
something.
whatever. But don't we, once we get back into a quorum, aren't we supposed to make a motion to do that? I guess I went back through the executive meetings that we've had, and it always seems like somebody made a motion in the executive meeting, blah, 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 yes, yes, no, no, no. And we get back to the regular meeting and we actually make a motion saying what we've done.
You can't make any motions in
Well,
an
it's not a
executive
motion, but
session.
it's,
So you can
It's
do,
just discussion.
yeah, you can have an executive session to direct an attorney to do something. But if it's an official city government action, it has to happen in a motion outside of that. I was just told to do something. That's all that happened in the session.
So did it happen when you resumed? the regular meeting then?
No, we got to the regular meeting, we just adjourned.
So then whatever he was told to do, he shouldn't have done. Because there
I
was
was
no,
told to
there
do
was
it.
no motion, but there was no motion.
There doesn't need to be if I'm just told to do something.
No, there could just be a consensus within the executive session.
But
For
then we
you to
get
give
back to the
directive.
regular meeting and we don't have to do anything?
Mhm.
See, I don't think that's right.
I don't either.
Well, that's North Dakota Century Code.
That's what I'm thinking it is. I think we need to make a motion to actually have you do what we told you to do, is what I think we have to do. I'm just asking. I just don't recall ever
Well,
going to an executive meeting. and
my
coming back
question
and
is
not doing anything.
when did the executive session come about? Because it was 2 hours and 20 minutes into the meeting and then, oh, boom, all of a sudden we're having an executive session. And it wasn't on the agenda, wasn't on the agenda that I had, because I have both of them. It
got
wasn't
added
on there,
That morning.
but it wasn't on the agenda that was distributed to the public.
Then we did vote to add it or
No.
take away
And
from
we
the
didn't vote
agenda.
to add it. It was
It was
like,
just all of a sudden. it
Anita was
we had-
scurrying, handing out the second agendas that included the executive session, and I don't think that's good business at all, because it's,
Anytime you call emergency meetings or executive sessions, it's not fun to coordinate because.
I
it's
get that, but
last
you
minute.
knew about it that morning.
It did.
So the question was, when did you know about it? And one said this afternoon and one said this morning, but it wasn't on the agenda.
It got put on the agendas that morning. And we scurried all day to get your meeting stuff together for that night. No,
No,
you
we
have to have
cannot.
proper notice.
There's reasons for having that executive session,
Mhm.
Correct.
then to discuss it, certain things.
And decisions are
Outside of
not
it is
supposed
what
to
we're
be
not
made in
supposed to
any
do.
executive session.
We
Ever.
directed the attorney to do what we decided.
Right. But you have to open the regular meeting again and give whatever discussion or motion, not discussion, but make the motion in a regular meeting for what happened in the executive session. And it doesn't have to be full details, but that's where the motion has to happen.
I mean, otherwise the city doesn't know what's going on at all. I mean, you're there for the legal part of it, and that's what we did, but they still need to know.
The citizens have a right to know, the taxpayers have a right to know what was,
Unless there's no.
Then why not
Decided.
just have
There's no
then don't
action,
have an
then there's no
executive
action.
session and discuss it.
That would be.
There's a
my
reason for
option.
the executive, there's a reason for the executive session.
it doesn't have to be detailed.
You guys are always grasping for straws, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. You bet, Brent.
Yeah.
I mean, like here I have one, Ganser moved to do this, and then the executive session began at 7:12. At 7:45, Ganser moved upon the revision of the legal opinion in accordance with, and we voted.
Exactly. I guess my question would be then what council approval did he have to do what he did? Because there was no formal motion.
Well, we made a,
I don't know.
Does anybody not want him to do what he did?
No, they just,
That's not the point that's being discussed. The point is being discussed in that.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, then why are you even asking that? You're just fishing. I mean, it's just
But it's also,
you gotta have standards.
it's also against the century code. It's a meeting violation again. And again.
I mean. it
so what's
just
the
says-
attorney say?
He's reading.
He's,
The minutes just basically say that the public was asked to leave The executive session began at 9:04. Gans are joined by phone. The regular meeting reconvened at 9:14 and immediately adjourned.
So that would mean then there was absolutely
no
no
motion.
direction or
Right.
motions made.
This is 44-04-19.2, 2E. Final action concerning the topics discussed or considered during the executive session is taken at a meeting open to the public unless final action is otherwise required by law to be taken during a closed or confidential meeting. For purposes of this subsection, final action means a collective decision or a collective commitment or promise to make a decision on any matter, including formation of a position or policy, but does not include guidance given by members of the governing body to council or any other negotiator in a closed attorney consultation or negotiation.
Exactly. And that executive session was mainly informative anyway, so it's perfectly within. So there was none. Okay, next topic.
There was a decision
There
made.
was a decision made.
There was a decision made.
I don't remember it. I
We
guess.
directed him to hand over whatever it was to Nadurf. Or not Nadurf, but to somebody. We did something. We have no record of it.
Andrew, you just said that you were told to do something.
Yeah,
That's
that was-
direction.
With
that was
permission
the
from North
guidance
Dakota.
that I received. Yeah,
But that's a decision made by the council.
but it still fits the statute.
It's exactly what he just read. Exactly. Oh my God, that's interpretation. Again, why are we even talking about this? Oh,
That's enough.
They didn't vote.
Well, nobody lied.
They didn't
nobody's
vote.
lying.
They didn't vote.
It was
Why
an
are they
informative
talking
meeting.
in the
That was
audience
it.
when we're discussing it up there and letting the attorney say what's legal and what's not?
And he had every right to, per what he just read. Yeah, go home and read it. Like he already
I'm
read
just
it out.
saying,
That's enough.
Move on. Just move on. It's done.
Train tracks north, mayor's report, Otter Tail and the fire department guy, well, the Otter Tail guy is the assistant fire chief. And he has grave concerns about the people on Silver Springs having fire protection because the train so often and for so long blocks the tracks up here. It would take, if there was a fire up there and the train blocks the tracks, they would have to drive clear to 55th Street and back around to do any fire
forever.
any fire protection up there. And he was wondering or suggesting that we contact the railroad, who will do nothing, but we at least need to contact them to see, because I know at least twice where they had two trains together, that's 2 miles long, and then they park them halfway. I had to drive clear down to Smith's elevator down there to get behind the train. I mean, it's just.
So anytime that the train is crossing for more than 10 minutes, so let's say I'm sitting out there for 10 minutes and they are crossing and they have not moved at all, I call Minot Central Dispatch and they contact the BNSF. That's the only way, or CP Rail, whichever one it is. And that is honestly the only way that
No.
action has ever been taken.
So we have to call the central dispatch.
But the problem is you tried to do that and lo and behold, this isn't a 24-hour deal here. People go home at 5 and then it sits there forever long it wants to do. I mean,
It's horrible.
you can do whatever you want to do and try whatever you can try, but it's been tried many times.
Several times.
I mean, it's not just fire protection. I mean, what if you need an ambulance out there?
Short of putting a underpass in, I mean, there's
Yeah.
really no
You
other.
either drive all the way up or drive around. Unfortunately.
The railroad ain't gonna care about our worries, so.
No, not at all.
Okay, Public Works monthly report. Mr. John?
Just so you guys know too, there is a new fire chief. The new fire chief is Jordan Morrow. He called the other day, and would like to work with us here in August or September on our emergency plan. Kind of wanted to make sure that was up to date. Just giving you Morrow, yeah, Mauro.
Okay.
So just to know that that's kind of in the works, and I'm trying to work with him and bring that to you guys too, to make sure our emergency plan is up to date.
Okay, John?
Evening, y'all. I do have, or I did put a report in all y'all's packets. Just have 4 questions that really needed y'all's attention. Multiple parties are interested in the street sweeper, and they're asking about a price that we'd like to sell it for. I don't remember the meeting offhand, but it was mentioned to attempt to sell the old street sweeper. Do we have a price? Are we still interested in selling it?
I think it has to go out on bids.
Yeah.
Yep, for anything over $2,500. Now, did we not buy the motor engine thing?
For the crack seal machine?
Yeah, didn't that get passed up to $1,000 or something for the?
Yeah.
It did. The motor, turns out it's an entirely different motor than what we were expecting it to be, and it's trying to find one now.
That wasn't the street sweeper though.
That was not the street
For
sweeper.
the crack sealing.
That was for the
machine.
crack seal. The street sweeper itself had a bunch of damage to it that we just decided to hire it out this last year.
So would it be under the $2,500 then, or I don't know?
No, that street sweeper is worth easily $10,000. Like, I feel like
We
the
bought-
best way to do it would be to hire somebody to work our street sweeper. It is functional. It just, the brakes are touchy. Which, I mean, there is no brakes, sorry, it's hydrostatic, but what I'm saying is, I think you could get, like Joy Wald will throw you in there. And with your equipment knowledge, you could probably run it fine.
It's all hydraulic motors. Everything on it is running. There's no belts. When I first thought about it, I thought it was like an old 92 Massey with belts and everything running every direction, but it's all hydraulic. Every wheel has its own motor and
So they don't use
the
it,
motor itself
right?
runs.
No, because they can't operate it, I don't think, and then it only works half the time.
So we
and
paid
then it
somebody to come in
craps
and
out.
clean the streets.
Well, I don't
and-
know. I
So
mean,
we do
We
know
did
how to
already.
operate it. It's every time we operate it, it breaks down for 3 days to 3 weeks. And we've had an expert from Minot come in and look at it. A mechanic who used to work on that particular style. And I'd have notes in the shop. He said it was like $10,000 to fix it to where it needs to be. And then it can't be stored outside, which it is. So
And I've said that since the day we bought it.
Yes.
I don't know. When we bought that was supposed to be in pretty decent shape. I mean, I know they could all say that, but I mean, we got it from the city of Minot. I don't know why they're gonna. I don't know. To me, we need someone. I don't know. That's just a freaking nightmare. That thing too.
so maybe not give up on
Gonna-
it yet. I don't know.
I don't think we give up on it.
I think we should find maybe a private mechanic in town or something that would at least look at it. Maybe they'd have some knowledge or at least look into it a little more, is my opinion.
When,
It's going to cost a lot of money to sweep the streets every year. I mean, they've kind of got a fly-by-night person the last time, I think,
Yeah,
this last spring.
when you get back, Brent, how about you and I get together and just see if we can get a hold of what's his name, Walker, George. He's the one
Yeah.
that ran it before.
Get another opinion, see what we got instead of selling it in case we can fix it for,
Yeah.
a reasonable price. Maybe we got to hire someone to come in and run it.
Okay.
I don't know how to run it either, so.
Next, John.
next, we need info on what to do with the old fogger. We've purchased that new one. We've used the new one. It works great. But what would you like to do with the old one? We can keep it for the couple of interchangeable parts. We can attempt to try to sell it. I know we bought it a couple of years ago for about $500. So whatever.
What
That's what I've been
are you
told.
talking about, John?
Fogger.
That's the old fogger, Mr. Brent.
I would say, keep it, or and or donate it to the park. Cause they can, I mean, they have trails and stuff that they can go back in and use it on.
Oh, or we'll talk that over at the park.
Get in there a little closer.
Also, we have an old flail motor that was purchased back before the Batwing, and it was used religiously, according to Bob Olson, by his kid when he was public works. What, do we have any plans for that? What do we want to do with that? We didn't even know about it until last year. We have nothing that can run it unless we buy another tractor or rent a smaller tractor. So what do we want to do with that old flail motor?
Where's that?
It's located behind the Connex right now. It was out at the cistern in about 10 feet of weeds. We found it last year, I believe. It's an old flail motor.
I guess I can't hear what he said for a piece of equipment.
Flail mower.
Mower?
It's a mower.
What kind of,
It's a flail motor. It has a bunch of metal brackets on it. I'm not familiar with the flail motor, to be honest with you.
Is it like a disc?
Kind of like a big tiller, isn't it?
Kinda.
Because they all spin.
Yeah, they all spin, so it
It
is
is?
like a tiller, but it's supposed to cut grass. I pulled out a
Yeah.
bunch of cattails and stuff out of it. So
I think the
last time
city
used
of
it was some
Minot runs them in
cattails.
the state.
So last time it was used was up at the lagoon in the cattails? Probably.
I don't know, to be honest.
But
with
you don't have anything that'll run it anyway.
We need a smaller tractor in order to actually run it.
What ran it before?
Apparently, we had that old tractor that was the unidirectional, had a cab on both ends.
That blue one, the bi-directional deal?
I think so. And that's what Bob remembers it running with. I don't know if that would, we're kind of scratching at the bottom on this one because none of us really know.
Yeah, I'm kind of recalling that we bought that for something that, yeah, they just do it on the bi-directional and did whatever with it. I'm guessing it was to possibly do the ditches as far as grass.
And now we have the Batwing, so
Yeah,
Sell it?
I would assume to sell it.
How much do you think it's worth?
we estimated about $200 because it's,
Oh, Lord.
Well, scrap
Scrap
iron is
it.
what?
Yeah.
200 a
You
ton?
might get more.
I would
than
list
that.
it on Bizman. And you could just put best offer.
And see what happens.
30 days.
There you go, John.
okay, we'll get that listed.
Thank you.
And finally, we've used 36 of 52 allowed dumps for our dumpsters. We still have about 15 left. I need a game plan before the end of the year, what to do if we run out of dumpsters. Last year, it cost us roughly $14,000 when we went over. I'd like to try to avoid that this year, but I'd like a game plan.
That's kind of when we lowered the garbage prices because we had a little, I guess some people thought it was a little high. I think we kind of jumped the gun there because of, well, right now,
Yep.
this is a perfect example.
So
And I don't think we should cut off the roll-offs
No, the garbage
for the
fund. that's-
citizens.
That's although people cutting their grass were almost short.
Right,
mean-
that's what I mean.
or after our 52 dumps, it's $150 per time we call them, plus $48 per ton. So, anywhere from $48 to 10 tons, whatever you can get in that container. So just food for thought, just kind of planting a seed, seeing what we need to do, but we are kind of running low. So
You're gonna need to raise the garbage money. That budget.
We should have never lowered it.
Nope.
Just, you probably don't see that only in the summer,
I mean, you can't.
Where we
have
need
it
so
knocked
many
off the
roll-offs,
grass. I mean, they gotta put it somewhere, otherwise, I mean, you have to have it,
Yeah, they'll be dumping it-
unfortunately.
They'll be dumping in the ditch. by
Yeah,
choice.
I'll be dumping it at your place.
Yeah, with my dumpster.
Yeah.
It happens.
I'm sure it does. I know what's happening.
A fellow was asking me today about the Ford pickup. Is that something that a person would want to sell?
our half ton?
Yeah.
Not at this time.
Okay.
We use that a lot in the summer for our seasonal help. So
Okay.
if we can replace it, we'd be glad to sell it, but that's a different conversation.
The budget item.
And we have other things that need replaced more than that half ton.
Okay. Is that it?
We got some
Just-
additions.
Okay.
Oh,
Any
sorry.
questions for John? Hearing none. Anita, city auditor.
I got nothing. You guys see what I've been working on this month? Training Kim,
Okay.
as much as possible, working with Terry.
We have some gaming site authorizations for the big dog. Should be in your packet somewhere.
So I just have a question about this. Did the Aggie, is that the Aggie Foundation? Did the Aggie Foundation ever come to the city council that we remember and present their permit?
I do not remember that they did. I think that the paperwork just got turned in and it got pushed through as an approval process. So if gaming site authorizations require city council approval, which I probably should have thought that they did. I don't know what our ordinance reads.
No, they definitely do. And then, there's a fee that goes with it. Like, did they already pay this fee?
And imagine we receipted the money, but I'd have to look.
Just so everybody on council is aware, like the city council gets to decide the gaming site or the gaming organization for each site. I guess I saw nothing wrong with the Minot Hockey Boosters. I know that they donated tons of money to the school. Any request that was made to them was granted wonderfully. I don't really know anything about this new gaming site, and I guess I don't know. I mean, technically they started on July 1st. So
What
but
is dated February?
That's when they put the app in, but it's good from July 1st.
Well, I know they recently
June
switched all their
30th.
machines over there.
Yeah.
So is that why they have to change it? Or, I mean, it's still the same gaming. It's still the electronic pull tabs,
Yeah, but
but
it's not the same organization.
but it's not the
Same
same, yeah.
In charge of it.
yeah.
So it might have been a fault on our office procedure.
So when it changes gaming sites, do we have, isn't their permit still, or whatever, still valid? They can change to whoever they want or not?
No.
It has to be approved by the city.
So on the
Okay.
back of it, it says that the Aggie Foundation was started by the Velva School and the community. So does that mean that's where all their money's gonna go?
No,
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. 'Cause
I'm just asking.
nobody presented this.
I don't know exactly on this, but what's the bar in town, the one by the
Devil's
by
Fire.
Community or First International Bank?
Oh,
Used to be the Blind Duck or something.
It's called Aces now.
Aces. That's owned by one of these
yeah, that's
gaming
owned by
outfits.
one of them. Yeah, that, well,
Yeah, and from what I've been told, that you don't get I think Steve said down there that the guy comes in, tells them how much money they took in and what percentage they get, and they get it. Hockey boosters, you ask for money and they give you some, but you don't ever know for sure what's,
But you don't know how much you have?
yeah.
They're not giving them proper like documentation on how much funds they have raised in different areas. So she essentially, when the school or people ask for it, she has to submit it to the hockey boosters to see if she can get it, and they approve it and give it to her. But she doesn't actually get like a ledger of, we have $2,000 in funds that we can donate, and like, whatever. And that's what she's had in the past year. So when she decided to change them, you know, she's been dealing with them for years, and she'd ask and ask and ask, because like the senior center, she helps them out, she helps the school out, the baseball, and whoever basically asked for funds. And she said, well, we don't know how much money we have, and then they go ask for it, and some things they would turn down, and some things they wouldn't. So she couldn't even approve them. They decided where she could do stuff as well, and that was probably part of the initiative.
So what's the breakdown of this new foundation though?
What's the Aggie Foundation?
I just know that that's some of the hardships that they had. They used to get reports on like what they had, and then they just stopped.
and that was the hockey boosters that we had.
So like for something like this that was done, how do you reciprocate?
or remediate. I mean, what would you do at this point?
Do we
I
not
mean,
approve it? I
It didn't
mean,
come to the city, but it got sent to the state. So the Attorney General has it on their hands. And we have it in our files, but it didn't get bring to the board, if that makes sense.
Did we receive any money though? I mean, I know it's a $50.
We'd have to make sure in the receipting that we did get some money on this. I
Mr. Schultz, do you know what's going on?
couldn't imagine taking it without taking money.
well, this one has it.
Who knows?
So the biggest question is here, they're added games and they changed who they're dealing with, right?
Right.
What does that make a difference for us?
Well, it makes a difference, whereas if there's money that they're collecting, and if you have a group that's gonna take all that money outside of Surrey, instead of giving some of it back to the senior citizens or
School.
Okay.
who
How
else,
come they don't
the
have
school
this
or whatever.
anymore?
Didn't,
I know. they didn't get a
didn't
second
Steve?
It's a
donate
major.
Like
I don't know
$5,000
what happened to
to
this.
something
Well, it's
in
here.
the school
but
or
it's not
something?
marked.
Seems
Well,
like.
that's
it-
something we just need the bar to clarify then for us?
It's not the bar though, it's the gaming.
It's the
It's the
gaming.
Gaming site?
It used to be mine at Hockey Boosters, and then they just disappeared, and now it's this other group.
But doesn't the bar
I've been in there all
decide
day.
who they have?
We're gonna go.
Right.
Are they operating right now?
Yeah,
And it's
according to
nobody's
this
saying
July
Velva-
1st.
Yeah, they are.
Velva alumni.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It looks like to me like it goes to Velva, for the Velva School and Community. That's what it was established by the Velva alumni for the Velva School and Community.
I don't know, do you give it 6 months and whatever groups around here want money, you go there and ask and see if you get anything, and it comes back next year, you have to remember to do something about it. Nothing you can do about it now.
Well, yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying, because it's approved
For
for
a
June
year, though.
30th of
Yeah.
2022.
It's not really approved.
But it's not really approved, it's just through our office and
It's
at
not
the
approved.
state.
Do you comment on the fees? The game company was supposed to pay that, they paid it probably in January, February, when the city sent the papers to me.
But I'm guessing what happened.
I'm telling you directly, this is the cheapest.
I'm not questioning it.
Was it approved by the state?
Sent to the Attorney General, yeah.
I know it was sent there, but I'm asking if it
Did
was
they sign
approved
it?
by the state. It's not signed by anybody else.
I would assume so, since they have their machines in the bar. I would assume that it was signed off by the Attorney General.
That the Attorney General.
But I'm just
approved.
going off North Dakota Century Code, and it specifically states that SFN 17996 form site authorization is approved by the local governing body. So
No, we can hear you there, buddy. Why don't one of you boys handle that? I want to be construed as, feminist.
And they've been doing this since
July 1st,
July 1st.
whatever, like you said. I mean, there's
Yeah,
nothing
I
we
don't,
can
I
do.
mean, it's not like we're talking a bunch
So
of
they
money.
turned it into you in February?
Well, that's the date that I got on there.
Well, that's what I'm asking. I mean, that's a long time ago. For it now to just be coming here.
And that's
And
where,
it's after July
that's where
1st.
the error would have been made. It should have came to you in March, but we had March, April, and May, June that were chaos, and I don't know why it wouldn't have came to you, maybe. I mean, I make errors. I'm gonna admit it. I made an error. I didn't bring it to you guys.
First name is on Jesus.
I don't think there's anything you can really do about it now. I mean, I know it's only the 6th of July, but they're kind of in there.
Do we need a motion or anything to approve it, or?
I
it's
think we better
already-
just to say,
Yeah, you can, I think you can approve it retroactively back to July 1st, just to make everything kosher.
I mean, maybe we should talk to Rosie come February, just to see what, or even have her come next meeting, whatever. I mean,
We need a motion to approve the gaming authorization as of July 1st, 2021.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Steve. We have a second.
I second it.
Second by Brent. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
No.
I'll be up there in a minute.
We got a tie.
I'll change my vote to no.
Steve votes no. Motion is defeated.
Now what?
I don't know.
I
So
don't
now we
either.
gotta
I
go
get-
tell them that they can't do
Now
The
what
what?
they're
Attorney
doing.
General would have to be contacted at this point and
Probably
made
right on
aware.
that.
And then the Minot Hockey Boosters would also need to be contacted and make it known that there is, or I guess any other gaming authorization or gaming
So
authority.
my question is, the people that own those machines, is this Aggie Foundation?
Yep.
Who does Steve have down there?
He has, it's out of
He
New
has the
Salem.
Legion, doesn't he?
Yep, Legion 61 or
Yeah.
something like that.
Oh, American Legion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we ask Carla? She might know.
I just have a question, so the application, I haven't printed, I didn't print that piece of paper. That was submitted to the state and to Surrey, correct, or it stopped on our desk?
No, it got pushed through our desk and forwarded to the state.
Okay, so it could have already been processed by the state then?
Absolutely.
Okay, Heather, you're shaking your head no?
No, I'm just saying that if she's already signed off, it sent to the state, she's already approved it, but now they're taking it back.
No, I'm getting there, I'm getting there. So if it went from here and it possibly went to the state then, is there, I would imagine you have to have a certificate, you have to have a sales tax certificate, you have to have a restaurant certificate, you have to have a certificate for anything.
You have to have a gaming permit.
Yeah, so is there a gaming permit for that bar?
At the bar.
that lists
Is there one,
Aggie
Heather?
Foundation?
Is there one?
You know,
From this
you've already
Aggie
done the
Foundation?
gaming
They do all that work for them when they put that up. They come in, they contact the city, they do all the paperwork for them, they set up the accounts, everything for them, and they brought it to the city now signed it, sent it to the state approved it, and now that's what it came back and said. So it started in January, it took all these months of July to get everything done and set up, and now you're saying,
So there is a certificate somewhere that has Big Dog Gaming Aggie Foundation on it.
All
You would
I'm
have
saying,
to-
the reason I voted no is because the process wasn't handled properly.
Right. There would have been no certificate.
The gaming
I didn't issue one.
organization should have presented
It would come from the state, wouldn't it?
their distribution stuff to the city council.
Wouldn't
That's
the
how that
gaming
works.
license come
Anytime
from
a
the
new
state?
site comes in.
I would imagine that there's a certificate.
Cause up here, there's a site, there's a spot here to write the information. I guess what I would have thought is that the city would have gotten some sort of notification that it was approved by the state.
No, okay, so we get submittal from the gaming organization, and then it gets approved by city council, and then we give authority for the city auditor to
Send
approve
to the
it,
state.
and then it goes back to the gaming organization, and they submit it with $150 to the attorney general. And then that's when
But we don't know if that happened because this is from February.
Heather's saying it happened.
well, Mom said that they take care of all the checks and mailing and all that stuff.
Yeah, but we don't know if it was done. That's the question.
So my point is to make a motion on something that you're not sure how it has transpired, can have pretty lasting effects, and you're gonna be, I would imagine, having a special meeting sometime soon. Isn't that something that you could table and gather the facts and then make a decision?
I don't want to make it, hard for the bar either.
No,
I
absolutely
mean,
not.
and that's not the point. And I agree with Jenny that it wasn't handled correctly. I mean, and it's kind of a mess and we don't really know what happened. You're right. We don't.
So I'm just saying before decisions are made, you may want to, and it's too late now, because it's been taken, but, to gather, because there could be a perfectly legal certificate being on the wall right now that
So my
I
question,
guarantee there is if all those machines were moved in there. However,
I would
I
assume
still
so,
think
yeah.
that the Attorney General's office should be contacted. Just to ask questions.
so my
If
question
there's
is,
nothing
even
can
though
do-
we said no, right? And what happens if it all, like she said, like Carla said, if it's all been approved by the state,
Then there's nothing we
us
can do.
saying no is really nothing.
Yep.
To be honest, if it's approved by the state.
Did you just vote no? What was the motion? Could you read that back?
To approve the gaming site authorization.
So you just unapproved the gaming site authorization?
No, we never approved it.
We never approved it.
Never approved.
It failed.
Yeah, the motion didn't pass. I mean, we didn't approve it.
Yeah, I don't know what to do.
I mean, it's kind of a mess.
I
I mean,
mean-
I don't know either.
I suppose that we should talk to the state to see if they have a license to do it. And if they do, then they're fine. And if they don't, then they can't have gaming. And then
But I agree.
we're supposed to approve it.
Needs to be,
Mhm.
it needs to be handled correctly.
I mean, I guess in January, when it comes back or whatever, at that time, you need to remember what we did and didn't do, or what they did and didn't do. And then you either say, yes, you want Velva to come back, or no, Velva can't come. And then they have to find somebody else to do it. Is that-
So if they got their gaming license in there, which I'm sure they do,
I'm sure.
I
they
don't
do.
know, but,
I can't imagine.
so then it's legal, right?
Your
I'm sure
mom-
the Attorney General will rule it that way, but
Yep.
I mean, it's just,
We're supposed to vote on it, so we know who's coming and who's not.
So we vote on it first before it goes to the Attorney General's office.
Yes, it
Is
was
what
a fault of
she
mine.
said.
Correct.
Yep.
So then does that mean that somebody from this Aggie Foundation would come here and give their spew, or would it be the person at
normally
the
when there's
bar,
a
or-
switch, in gaming organizations, that's what happens.
Right.
The new,
So you can ask,
Organization
where's your
presents.
money gonna go?
Oh, yeah.
yep, you can ask all those questions. That's why the city council's in charge of it.
It might be wise just to educate your more people then, that's the process, and how it's supposed to be done, because I'm assuming then they didn't know.
But it's always been the same.
But there used to never be gambling in there. It had to start at someplace, and that's when it started, as they came here.
So hockey boosters came in here originally and gave.
Somebody came in here and gave us a spiel about this is what
Mhm.
we want to kick back 40% or whatever that number was. But we would have assumed that who's ever doing those books would have known that 40% was going out, and you were kind of saying you had no idea.
That's what it got to. It got to the point where she couldn't find out even what was in there or anything. Yeah, hockey boosters would help out with their community or anything. We would send a letter to. They were very, very generous and courteous about giving us a brand new shooting machine for the school. But I privately went to them myself, not through the bar, not through anybody else, and they were helpful to us. But I mean, that could be any foundation we would go to and ask for donations. That's essentially has nothing to do with that.
I
Big money.
personally can't imagine Rosie bringing in
Somebody
a
has it there.
gaming company that's gonna give all their money to
How much
Velva.
money
I mean, I
the
don't see
machines
her doing
they
that.
Throw away that much.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, I don't
Yeah,
see
I'm
that
sure they have a
happening.
list of something somewhere
Yeah.
that minor hockey boosters themselves gave away. But
Well, can we
We'll
go
find
to the allocations of CDs?
Oh.
Anita? Did we do that already?
No, it's not on here.
It's on the second one.
It's on the additional. It was kind of a requested thing because, January, a CD hit our, checking, but there's no, transaction for it within your accounting. So what the third-party auditing firm, and we can see, is that your CDs probably were not accounted for in your fund.
So I don't know, does anybody remember? I'm sure we did this, approved to cash out the CD in January. Basically, if anybody, or maybe it was December, if anybody remembers where that money was supposed to go, what fund that was supposed to hit, that's all we need right now for the sound
Did you say in
CPA.
January?
It might have been
There's actually
December.
Quite a few cashed out.
Weren't the ones from Bremer that got cashed out and took to First Western? Or was they First Western to, oh boy, United
no,
Community?
First Western, that was years ago, it was at First Western, and then I believe they cashed everything out of First Western and went to wherever they were at.
To First International, right, but there was one done January, February, March, April.
What's that? I don't know.
That's why we want to know, because right now it just was basically a deposit, a
It was a
transfer into
deposit
the,
into the general checking. And really what we see is, it probably didn't exist in the initial fund balance to begin with. Anyway, with the reconciliation piece. But it's still an asset of the city. You would think it would be consisted of some of your funds, right?
It's been in the general fund, but you wouldn't have seen it moving in and out of the general fund. It would have, that same amount would have stayed in the general fund itself, but just on the top of your balance sheet, it just would have moved from one money market to the next. And then you would have added a little bit of interest to it. You wouldn't have done the same entry. You wouldn't have pulled out and put it into a fund. You would have just left it in there.
I mean, I remember us talking about getting rid of it because it wasn't getting any money. I don't know how much money, well, how much money is
I
it?
remember that.
14,000 something.
14,000.
Well, there was one in January,
Well,
one
there's quite a
February,
few.
one in March. I gave you guys.
But is
the
it from
in-
one bank to another bank?
1, 2, 3.
I'd
Yeah.
added
4
up.
here.
Yep, they moved one bank to the other.
14 grand
Right.
apiece. 14-ish apiece.
So it went from Bremer to where?
First Western to First International. So it moved once from First Western to First International. They moved from a CD into the general checking account.
So these are all First Western statements.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't find my stuff.
Maybe there were 3 of them that were left there, because I thought they got rid of everything at First Western.
I signed, 3 months to roll over 3 money markets still at First Western.
When did you do that?
2, 3, 4 years.
And it just never got done.
No, we just let me reinvest that. We moved them, I think they moved them out on First Western. I think everything that was on First Western.
No, see, these just
No,
left
these
First
are-
Western in February.
Well, these 4.
The last one was in April.
So I guess, do we want to move that money into, start another money market account and have that start earning interest as well?
Yeah, I'd rather
and just name it?
reinvest it than
Take
if we
take
don't
that
need it.
dollar amount out of the general fund or the general checking and put it in the money market savings.
But I mean, we'd have to, is there another money
There's a
market?
money market savings that earns a
Perfect.
higher interest rate.
And that's not, doesn't have a label to it? That doesn't have a fund attached to it
That
at all?
is
It doesn't have
just
any
your
special assessment?
Money market savings.
I guess, I mean, if everybody agrees, that's where I think it should go.
Yeah, so do I.
Okay.
I agree.
And then
You
all
want
the rest
all
of
of
them.
that to go for each CD that was
Mhm.
maybe gonna hit a deposit for each month that we're reconciling?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I don't recall we were gonna buy anything with it.
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
Real quick before, the gaming thing is like, are we gonna follow up on that or what are we gonna do?
Something better be
Do we have
done.
a need to call the Attorney General's office?
Is that- Yeah, I think we start there.
And everything has been paid and they have all the paperwork come through completely. She
Okay.
told them, talked to them just now. everything's completely done.
So they have everything from the Attorney General's office then, so.
Yeah, I'm guessing they approved it. We just never got to approve
It
it.
just never got to their table.
Correct.
okay, Park. Kara?
I just thought, I just sent something to executive session from the Attorney General's office. And I'm just asking, maybe we can just say that it was a birthday, directly you to do something regarding that, the meeting. That just thing is because the Attorney General's office is really at all. That happened in the executive session happening.
I'm gonna listen to the executive session. Yep.
Okay. Park Board.
So,
That was
no
taken
park board.
off.
Dark
Do I
Park
need
Board.
to call the Attorney General then on that?
Yes. I think we should verify
Double
for our own needs,
Okay,
our own purpose.
and if I,
So even,
What'd you say, Brent?
so even if you guys voted no on it and it's all legal, then it goes through, it doesn't have to go back for another vote to be approved through the council or not?
Well, once it's already approved by the Attorney General, we can't overrule that. I mean, that's a done deal as far as I'm
that
concerned.
was Secretary of State,
No, it's the Attorney General.
So then everything proceeds through until then January 1st, it'll come back up as long as it's all the legal
Usually it's like
process
in
was
May
done,
of
is
every
that
year.
correct?
Yeah, they have to reapply or whatever, and then. you
Yeah,
have
it
to
ends in
remember
June
that.
30th of next year then. It's for 1 year, Brent.
Okay.
We're done. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll
Motion
second
by
it.
Second.
Jenny. We're out of here.